Welcome back to the second draft. Unfortunately, with the looming demise of net neutrality, we're going to have to make some changes going forward starting next week. Starting next week, there will be a surcharge to watch our videos every week. It's going to be $15 a week. However, we're going to supplement more content and bring more to you viewers. So starting next week, I'll be doing every episode topless. Welcome back to the second draft.
I will not be doing every episode topless. I'll just drink more.
We also had to cut some members of the team. McAdoo is no longer with us. He was never a member of the team anyway.
I will definitely not miss him.
Hasta la vista. Jackass.
Or
Good riddance.
McAdoo.
McAdoo.
I cannot take credit for that. That came from my buddy Aaron, also known as, I think he's called AZ Penguin, and he comments on the video sometimes. So if you see him on the YouTubes, give him a thumbs up or like his comments. Or
I'm giving you a real live thumbs up, dude.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Yeah.
It would have been even better if he'd coached for the Saints. That whole French theme. Yeah. That would have been rad.
Yeah.
No such luck. So
weird week last week. I'm sure you know what happened last week. It was bad. Let's just get right into this week. Let's
before we get into
it's like a bad relationship. Every new relationship is a clean slate, right?
if you're doing relationships correctly.
Well, just saying, yeah. Are we doing football correctly?
I don't know. The Giants aren't doing football
NFL
correctly.
is not
maybe
doing
now they
football
will.
correctly.
Maybe now they will.
Yeah. So just a quick update. I'm still in the lead.
Oh, thank you, Paige.
You're welcome.
And another news.
Alex is
And another news.
6 points behind me, and DT
coming
is
in
bringing
close.
up the rear.
How
But
many?
He is,
He's only
however,
behind.
in
He's
the
only
lead
behind
in
Alex
the,
by 2, but he
in the
is
league.
at the impending champ.
But this is week
In fantasy
14, which
football.
means we have 3 weeks left, which means I'm just not going to catch up unless Paige takes pity on me and just makes some bullshit picks. This is going to be a really hard week to make some bullshit picks, because I feel like a lot of these games are really cut and dry.
I think we're going to have a lot of disagreement this week, actually.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, let's-
So we should jump into it.
Yeah,
'cause
let's go for it.
I think this is going to be less agreement than we've had in weeks past.
okay.
So we'll see how
I
this
think-
works out.
That's fine.
there is. You might not be able to catch up to Paige, but there is always the race to second place, and
Yeah.
The not loser spot.
the race away from the impending shame that is, for me, a Khalil Mack jersey.
And we haven't decided DT's punishment yet. We might adopt my
some
husband
heinous-
Brad's fantasy league worst team trophy of a Tim Tebow jersey from the Jets.
That'd be
That would
brutal.
be funny.
Oh, not even that.
Just makes you a little sour in the stomach.
Still a little bit. Makes this, well, nothing can make beer taste worse, but, or not as good, I mean. But yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can play to not lose.
I'm going to try to not lose.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Thursday night football.
Mm-hmm. Big
New
game.
Orleans Saints are playing in Atlanta. Hey, the Chick-fil-A will be open.
Oh.
One of
So
2
this
games
is
this year.
this is like one of the best Thursday night games of the year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. With the
That was
added
the only-
bonus of
the biggest
actual
thing that
Chick-fil-A to be eaten.
But not if you're gay.
Yeah, they're not going to serve you
Evidently.
straight.
Bigots.
The only thing that I think went well last week in the NFL was the Saints completely dominated and showed their prowess on the field against them Panthers, who I think are still a formidable team. But, we saw who was the kind of clear-cut winner.
Yeah.
No kind of
Yeah.
ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was pretty, I don't know,
was
at least to
one-sided.
me, it was pretty direct.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you tell us?
I don't know if that indicates
who you
my
think
pick,
is
but
gonna
I'm going
win?
to go with the Saints this week.
You're riding the Saints train again.
Yeah.
Still.
It's a
Have
fun train.
been.
I've been enjoying the train. A lot of people throwing beads. A lot of people drinking alcohol. Yeah. Flaming absinthe. It's a great train. Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
going
a little bit of the
Saints.
I'm on
green
that-
fairy
I'm totally
here
on
and
that
there.
train,
Just
yeah.
a little vice and debauchery. No
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Definitely going Saints. Yeah. Even though it looks like, as of today, we're recording a little bit late due to scheduling conflicts and whatnot on my part. It's my fault.
Yeah.
So this video is hopefully going to go out on Thursday before the game happens, hopefully. But it looks like Mark Ingram might be out. He has not practiced as of today, Wednesday. He's got a toe injury that he's been nursing. I imagine it's probably just smoke and mirrors. He's probably going to play anyway.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him sitting out a game this important on a national stage. But Falcons are not as hot as they should be. Saints are incredibly hot, even though they broke that 8-game winning streak. They're still super hot. Going to go to the playoffs. Saints.
Yeah.
Big fish at number one spot. Sorry,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Both of these teams have defenses that are pretty good, able to keep people out of the end zone, so that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen that Julio can be stopped, and I think that's going to happen.
I think so too.
I think Julio will be limited. So as long as Ryan, I think Matt Ryan's going to have to use Freeman and Coleman a lot to even have a hope.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think the Saints passing game is going to win the day. The Saints.
See, for me, I think when I look at this game, I think about the only thing that I've seen stop the Saints this season really has been themselves, or they figured out how to stop half of the run game.
Yeah.
And that's what the Rams did. And, Kamara still had a big game. Mm-hmm. But, if you look at all of their biggest downfalls, I'm considering benching Breeze this week. I've got Alex Smith, and he had a really hot week last week. And he's going up against the Raiders this week in favor of – thinking about putting him in favor of or rather than Drew Brees. So we'll see.
Yeah,
that might change.
With the
if what
in the Raiders game, but
I'm on the fence about it. If what Paige says holds true, and that kind of sinks in for me for the rest of the next 24 hours, then I might change my mind. Because if the passing game opens up, I don't know. I'll have to think about it some more. Simmer on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The 49ers are playing in Houston against the Texans.
I'll go first. Why not?
Yeah.
This is not going to be a great game. I'm going to pick the Niners. I was not unimpressed with Garoppolo. He did some good things last week. He showed some promise. That Texans team is just decimated. You go through the list of their injuries, and they're missing 2 running backs, their guards, their wide receivers. That team has just been destroyed by injuries this year. I feel like the Niners are going to have a little bit of fire, and I feel like that's going to be more than enough to overcome that broken Texans team. So, Niners.
What about you, Alex?
This is a pretty terrible game.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head there. Texans are broken. I don't know. I'm right down the middle with this one. Mm-hmm. 49ers had a huge win last week, so I don't know. But at the same time, Tom Savage actually threw a touchdown. So who
and
knows?
Jimmy Garoppolo did not.
That's true.
Yeah.
All the points on that board for San Francisco were because of their kicker.
Yeah.
All 15.
Yeah.
Not a single freaking touchdown.
You know what? I'm DT's got me convinced. I'm gonna go Niners also. Mm-hmm. I still don't. The Texans they look so busted.
There was some throws made by Garoppolo. Again, he didn't throw any touchdowns, but it was his first start ever. There was some throws where it looked pretty effortless, where he was just standing tall in the pocket and he threaded some needles. I'm not ready to say he's the next big thing. I don't think he's going to be like Carson Wentz or Jared Goff for the Niners, but I see some flashes of greatness in the small sample size we've seen him in. So maybe in a few years, maybe in a year, maybe he might surprise us next year. But yeah, I think he's going to be trending up. I think the Niners are going to be trending up as a result. So,
on the other hand, you do not see that with Tom Savage. Unfortunately, he reminds me so much of Mark Sanchez, which is weird. Because he's got the core talents that you need to be a quarterback. He's obviously an elite athlete, but I don't think that he has the wherewithal to be great in the league. Mm-hmm. If I'm proven wrong, then so be it. But I don't see it right now.
Well, I'm going Texans. Jimmy G did not really impress me that much. He threw an interception, no touchdowns. 15 points sounds great until you realize that none of them were touchdowns. And the Texans defense, while decimated, still has a pretty stout defensive front. And I think that's gonna be enough to keep Garoppolo uncomfortable. So I don't think they're gonna be able to put up very many points. And Tom Savage has proven he can put up some points, more than just a kicker. So I'm going Texans.
Okay, all right.
First disagreement of the week.
Yeah.
Next one coming up.
His highlight touchdown pass last week was to the ground, but what it was counted as a touchdown.
Yeah, that was some nonsense.
This will be an interesting one to watch. This might be the garbage game of the week. I don't know if you guys can think of one that's
pretty
kind of up there.
I think it's I think it's a game of low score and completely inept offense.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be fun to watch. It could be interesting, but I don't think it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Moving on. I thought I knew what DT was going to answer. He gives me his picks before we start. And he didn't agree. I was kind of surprised. Chicago Bears are playing in Cincinnati against the Bengals. I'm going Bengals. I'll start off. The Bears offense is one of the worst in the NFL. Like, the worst. And they're dilapidated. Trubisky's not having a great rookie season. There's some flashes of, talent and decency that are completely muddied by the fact that team is complete and utter garbage everywhere else, pretty much. His most exciting weapon is a rookie running back, which that's not good news at all. Meanwhile, Andy Dalton is still doing Andy Dalton things, and the Steelers
interceptions.
Yeah, but they almost beat the Steelers, which is a much better team than the Bears by a million miles. And Joe Mixon is gonna. Yeah. He's gonna tear the crap. All signs for me point to Cincinnati. And playoff hopes for Cincinnati are still alive. The Bears have nothing to play for other than playing badly enough that their coach gets fired.
I'll go next. I am disagreeing with Paige. I'm going Bears. Mostly because we don't really know the status of Mixon at this point. He was injured in that game against the Steelers. It might be Gio Bernard. I'm a fan of Gio Bernard, but he's grossly misused in that offense, consistently. Which means their running game is going to be very predictable, very one-dimensional, and very easy to stop, I think. I was not convinced by the close game against the Steelers last week because that was such a weird game. In the first 5 minutes, we had an interception from Ben Roethlisberger. We had two players get into a fight, and we had Ryan Shazier possibly, hopefully not, do some serious damage to his spinal cord, and we don't know if he'll even play again. That's me being in my absolute most pessimistic saying he might never play again. There's already word that he's getting the feeling back in his lower extremities and things are looking good. He may not need surgery, but they're not going to know the extent of the damage until swelling goes down. That being said, that entire game started weird, and that game just became weird and became violent and became awful. It was not good, clean football, so I don't think it's a good...
Neither of those teams play good, clean football when they're playing against each other.
No, it's not a good measure of the quality of either of those teams are capable of. That being said, I'm just going to say Bears because I don't think the Bengals are as good as they may have looked on paper against the Steelers. So,
I don't want to base my entire pick off of last week, but I do think that the team has to have some wherewithal altogether to be able to keep up with a team as well-rounded as the Steelers look this season. So my pick is going to be the Bengals. So here's an opportunity for you to come back, but I don't know. I'm torn about this one. You both kind of had me convinced at one point here. If I'm going to sit back and make my last minute pick, but I do think the Bengals are going to take this one. They've looked good in flashes earlier in the season. Most of the season they haven't looked good at all though. So
and their defense is enough to keep Trubisky
tamed. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has no receivers to throw to. So it's that entire offense is Trubisky and Howard. And Howard's good. Mm-hmm. Howard can't carry an entire team.
True.
So I'm just unconvinced by the Bears. They may have beaten the Steelers earlier this year, but that has proven to be a complete fluke. That's one of 2 losses that the Steelers have. So I just don't. I'm not convinced by the Bears. I'm not convinced by the Bengals either. And frankly, if I had to pick like the one I wanted to win, I would never pick the Bengals. Ever.
They're all, I mean, the Lions, Tigers, and Bears, all pretty terrible this year.
Oh my. Yeah. All right, moving on. I don't think this is going to have much disagreement.
No.
Green Bay Packers are playing in Cleveland against the Browns.
Packers.
Moving on. Sorry, Browns fans.
It's the truth.
You're going for that perfect season, though. Go for it. I heard that somebody actually purchased a parade permit for an 0-16 parade.
Oh, Cleveland has such a great sense of humor and iron. Like their sense of irony
I love their fan base. Those
really
are
sharp.
Great people. So,
yeah, they're amazing.
They showed the Browns showed a little bit of fire last week. Well, mine too.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
The Browns showed a little fire last week. This is not nearly enough to beat the Packers. I wouldn't say it was enough to beat almost any team. But
Kaiser cannot stop throwing the ball to the other team. He just can't. I think he is still stunned that he's wearing orange and brown, and he just can't move on, and he's wishing for something else.
So
keep playing like that, and you'll be wishing yourself straight into retirement.
I'm wishing for something else too, so let's move on to the next game.
Okay. Vikings are playing against Carolina.
This is going to be a good game. This is one of the better games this week.
Yeah.
Let's let Alex go first. He hasn't got first yet.
Oh yeah, you throw me the curve here. I don't know. I mean, the Vikings. I'm gonna go Panthers. Let's just go Panthers.
Lone Wolf.
Yeah. It's gonna be. I think the Panthers are gonna be real angry about last week. I think they're going to want to show some stuff. The Vikings still look good, though, so this is going to be probably my game to watch more than any other this week.
Your game of the week?
I think so. Is it the game of the week?
It's not for me, but it can't be for you.
Yeah, it's not mine either, but...
Mine might be, like, Seattle, Jacksonville, or Eagles-Rams. I don't know. But
that's my game of the week.
This is
we'll get there.
It's one of the top games to watch for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Panthers.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm gonna go Vikings. Skull. They're looking great. They're killing it. Panthers did not look great against a divisional opponent last week. The Saints. Saints really kind of clean house. Greg Olsen, he's week to week. They have no idea if he's gonna play or not. Kelvin Benjamin, his absence has been significant. More so than we may have actually given him credit for before he was traded to the Bills. They're having trouble getting shit going. And as a result, there's a lot of anger, a lot of weird shit happening on the Panthers. Vikings, they're stable. They're having fun, which is a big, big factor in football. They're having fun. I think they're a happier team than the Panthers. So, yeah, even in a home game for the Panthers, I think the Vikings are going to take it.
Yeah. I'm also going Vikings. They're the hottest team in the league, I feel like.
They're so sexy.
He doesn't even know how to respond to that. Like, damn it. Oh,
Case, I do love you. I do love you.
Case,
but I think the Panthers will put up a good fight. I think Cam and Christian will be good for probably a couple touchdowns. But that Vikings offense is freaking efficient.
And
they are so efficient.
Too.
Not to mention the stellar play by the Vikings defense all year.
Yeah, so my thing is who is going to contend with Xavier Rhodes?
I love you, Xavier. Nobody.
Exactly. Yeah. You've got a shutdown corner playing for the Vikings, and you've got no notable receivers playing for the Panthers.
Yeah.
That's the X factor right there.
Rush
no
game,
pun intended.
though.
Well, yes, pun intended.
And Keenum is slinging the ball to 2-star receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Vikings, I just don't think that the Panthers can keep up with the Vikings on the scoreboard, and I think the Vikings will hold off that Panthers offense pretty well. So I'm going Vikings.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do a Viking horn over this.
I love the Vikings.
Moving on.
I think this game is gonna be boring.
We'll just gloss over.
Lions are playing in Tampa Bay against the Bucs.
I'm gonna go Lions. Buccaneers are just decimated. They just don't have it. It's bad over there in Tampa. Lions. We don't know the status of Matthew Stafford. He's got a weird hand injury. He's still been nursing since last week. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I think he's got like a bruised bone in his hand or something weird like that. He took a weird hit where his hand was kind of pinned between his chest and it was like a helmet. It's still not enough to make them a worse team than the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, you guys are just done. Just take a beat, relax for the rest of the season. You're not even going to contend for the division, so just go for a high draft pick at this point. Lions.
Alex?
I don't know that I have quite as many bad things to say about the Buccaneers. I'm still not a Bucs fan. I haven't been this entire season. Buccaneers have been garbage, but I don't know that it's enough to make me think that the Lions are going to outright win. I think this is going to be another terrible game. But I'm going to agree with DT here and pick the Lions. I do agree that they're decimated. They're just bad.
Yeah, I'm going Lions too. Mm-hmm. First off, it is a must-win for Detroit if they have any hope of making it to the postseason, and they actually do, weirdly enough. And Tampa Bay has been a mess. They're just a mess. Winston is a mess. He's turning the ball over. The defense is a disaster. Their running game is garbage. And even though Stafford doesn't do well against legit opponents, this is not a legit opponent.
Exactly.
They're just not. Like, could they win? Yes, they could. Anything is possible.
Sure.
99% sure that
the
Lions will win this game.
Yeah.
Right. So, sorry, Tampa, you're not legit. That's what I said. The city might be legit. I've never been there.
Tampa?
Yeah.
I don't know. Never been there. I've been to Detroit.
Detroit's a fun city.
Yeah. Well, the suburbs are great.
No, downtown can be fun. You have to be with the right people, and not at night, maybe.
Who's next? Let's move on.
Moving on.
This is when we can gloss over on our way towards halftime. Paige, you can go ahead and kick us off.
Oh, yeah. The Colts are playing in Buffalo against the Bills. Mm-hmm. These are two teams that are going nowhere. Colts are on consecutive road games, but the Bills might start Peterman. Who knows? Even so, I'm going Bills.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor's questionable. He's injured.
Yep. Even if, I'm going Bills.
I'm going to go Bills too. I don't have much to say about this game. So, J-Rum absorb this one because I think we might actually unanimously go Bills, and this is going to be not a terribly stressful game for you to watch, sir, but I think your team's going to win, and they need one after last week, so.
Definitely.
Bills.
I think the Colts have the ability to pull out a surprise here. My pick will still be the Bills, but I do think that they have a little bit more of a shot than we're giving them credit for, especially if Tyrod's questionable. I think that's the biggest force there.
Could be.
I don't know, but the Colts defense will not be able to keep up. So, the Bills.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we doing halftime
Cool.
now?
Let's do this one real quick. Yeah, we'll do this one real quick. I feel like this is going to be another quick one.
I don't think so, but we can.
All right. I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll introduce it too.
Oh,
Why not?
go for it.
It's the Raiders at the Chiefs. So last week I made a joke about Andy Reid's play calling, saying he was kind of weird and doing some really stupid crap, and it was not paying off, and it was making the team look terrible, and they've lost a whole bunch of games in a row, and the team was basically a huge effing dumpster fire. And proof enough that important people watch the second draft. Andy Reid literally benched himself last week. He rescinded all play calling duties to his offensive coordinator, and guess what happened? Alex Smith threw for almost 400 yards. Tyreek
35-point
Hill had
game.
like 2 touchdowns and 190 yards.
Praise, sweet baby
Travis
Jesus.
Kelce had 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards.
Happy belated birthday.
They still lost to the Jets because you're not gonna fix things overnight. But if they keep going with that, I know I got into a discussion with a friend of mine who's a Chiefs fan, and he said I was completely dumb for thinking that maybe Andy Reid is kind of past his expiration date. Maybe it's time to hang it up because he's a Chiefs fan. A lot of people love Andy Reid. I still respect Andy Reid.
I don't.
I
I respect him, but I don't love him.
I mean, we've seen in Arizona, I think every player has a wall they hit. I think every coach has a wall they hit as well. Maybe Andy Reid has hit that wall. I'm going to give the front office the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe that offensive coordinator that called all the brilliant plays last week is going to maybe make those same calls or be able to make the calls this week, and Andy Reid's going to kind of keep himself to the wayside. If they do that, I can see them absolutely beating that Raiders defense. So that's what I'm defaulting to. That's my, we'll call it a wild card because a lot of things have to fall in place for it to happen, but I'm going to say Chiefs.
Cool. I'm going Raiders. I just don't think there's any reason to think that the Chiefs can stop the 4-game skid that they're on. They looked legit early, and then now they are mistake-ridden, and instead of the bend but don't break defense, they're just the breaking defense. And the Raiders, while Carr is not 2016 Carr form, the Raiders have picked up some steam. Marshawn is starting to make a better impact.
True.
Thank God.
Just in time for the playoffs in our fantasy league.
Yeah, and so that offense is getting a little bit more well-rounded. I don't believe in the Chiefs anymore. I just don't. And the Raiders already beat them once this season. So I'm going Raiders. This is going to be an AFC. I mean, the AFC West is on the line.
Yeah, this is an important game for both teams.
So both teams, yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be kind of a fun game to watch.
All right, Alex's 2 most hated teams in the league. Aside from hoping that Bane from The Dark Knight Rises shows up and blows the field up, what do you think is going to happen?
And I'm going to get derailed. I think both teams have had big peaks and valleys this season. I think last week the notable things were, we saw a lot of the flashes of that really hardcore Chiefs offense that we saw earlier in the season. And they only lost by a single score to the Jets, who have been consistently getting better.
Season.
Yeah, unexpectedly decent.
Yeah. I don't think the Jets are as good as the Raiders are right now. I'm sorry, I don't think the Raiders are as good as the Jets are right
I'm
now.
not sure I agree with that.
Okay.
I think that would be a good game to watch. But speaking about this game, though, the Raiders are on an uptick. I think the Chiefs, honestly, are back on an uptick. They still lost last week, but I still think they're kind of getting some steam back, especially if what DT was talking about holds true and that play calling comes back out again. The Raiders look consistent. They looked a lot better last week, like a more put together team than I've seen earlier in the season. So I think this is going to be a good matchup. But I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I'm going to go with scoring potential here. I think the Raiders, they've both been up and down, and the Chiefs had this really terrible midseason, but I think the Raiders don't really have the same kind of X factor. So, yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs.
Cool. I'm all by my lonesome.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for halftime.
It's time for halftime because I'm out of beer. It's time for more beer.
More beer. I will be out of beer in a minute. All right, halftime.
Here we
You
go.
guys. And we're back. That was halftime. Hope you guys got refills on beer. We sure did. We're going to need it for these next couple games.
Finish my beer before we're done with these next couple of games.
I'm excited about these games. I don't know, like
You're
some
weird.
of them.
Yeah.
Not Titans. We were just talking about
you've
Titans
had too
Cardinals.
many beers to prepare for these 2 games is what's going on.
No, I've just lost hope for the Broncos, and you guys are still invested in the Cardinals,
No,
obviously.
I'm not.
But
I'm not invested in the Cardinals.
okay, well,
I'm invested in us getting better draft picks, which means losing.
I'm still looking at a couple of these games, thinking that they're going to be a lot better than maybe people think. So Let's jump in.
Let's Cowboys against the Giants.
Paige, you go first. Who do you got?
I'm going Cowboys. The Giants are in the middle of a massive mid-season rebuild. You guys are funny. And not only is Ben McAdoo out. McAdoo.
Goodbye, dumb First bleep, maybe the only bleep.
Maybe.
But well warranted.
But general manager's gone too. Jerry Reese is out. So they have no direction or leadership. And Dallas is scratching and clawing their way towards a playoff berth. Mm-hmm. And they had a strong performance last week.
Yeah.
Which gives them some momentum. Dak is back on track. Alfred Morris.
Something that rhymes with Morris. I'm so sorry. You said Dak is back on track, and I was like, "Where's she going with this?"
I didn't think out the rhyme scheme. Sorry.
That defense
Morris
looks porous.
Oh yeah, there we go. We should start a band.
Morris will not bore us.
Or a rap group.
There you go.
We got the rhyme.
One or the other. Both.
You need to get a Zach Morris lookalike. Maybe, I don't know. Alex can't pull it off.
Blonde, that's it.
So I think this is going to be an ugly game. But I'm going Cowboys.
I'm going to go Cowboys as well. But I'm not counting the Giants out. When shit like this happens with a team, when your head coach gets fired mid-season and your general manager's gone too, and Eli's going to be coming back to you under center, I feel like that team is going to be playing with a big chip on their shoulder, and big shakeups tend to. We saw it with the Titans when Ken Wisenhunt was fired. Tends to kind of invigorate a team, maybe for just 1 week. The Cowboys are definitely going to win. Their win last week was shocking, honestly. Alfred Morris was a man possessed. It was like, who's Zeke Elliott? Like, they didn't even need him. Dak was on fire. Everything looked really solid. That offensive line played succinctly. That being said, they're the better team than the Giants, but I think the Giants are going to come out swinging. I think it's going to be a better game than people are expecting. Especially, they're playing in New York, too, so that home crowd is going to be loud and obnoxious in a good way. They're going to give the Cowboys a hard time, but I think they're still going to walk away with it. Dallas will.
Alex.
So, Mr. I'm excited for this game, but I don't want to talk about it yet.
No, I'm ready to talk about it.
I
think I think sure your head coach is fired, but I don't think McAdoo is doing anything in New York anyway. So I don't know that that's going to make any kind of difference. I think they're just kind of going to blink and be like, oh, we're in a better spot now. Cool. I'm going to pick the Cowboys also. Mm-hmm. Alfred Morris was one of my sleeper picks from a couple weeks back. He was one of the people that I thought was going to make a lot of shakeups and step in without much of a hiccup after Zeke. And they had a little bit of hiccups mid-season, so I wasn't entirely right immediately. But he's panning out towards the end of the season as a reliable running back. So I think he's going to be able to find holes in the Giants' defense. And I think they're going to be able to do something. I'm not, like DT said, I'm not counting the Giants out because I think, if Eli comes back under center like with a fire, then he might want, he might have something to prove.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be enough.
No, and another thing to consider is the fact that Eli Manning automatically makes a now healthy Sterling Shepard relevant again. So I think Shepard's going to bounce back in a really nice game. So if you've got him on your roster and you've been stashing him, waiting for him to get over his migraines issue and his quarterback issue, which has now been resolved, both of them hopefully, I would say he's almost like a sleeper pick this season or this week for fantasy. So
cool.
Yeah, moving on.
Redskins are playing in LA against the Chargers.
I'm just gonna say Redskins.
Why?
They're playing better football than the Chargers are. The Chargers have had some flashes of greatness. They've done some really good things. That defense has been really solid. Again, Melvin Ingram, I got his name right this time, and Joey Bosa have killed it. I don't know. The Chargers are going to have to play really hard because that AFC West division is so up for grabs at this point. But I think the Redskins are just maybe the better team. They're going to edge them out. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But I don't know. It's a gut feeling that Washington's going to take this game.
Interesting. What about you, Alex?
I don't know about the high scoring bit, but I see where you're getting with the kind of like gut feeling Redskins are going to take this. I thought the Chargers looked good like 2 weeks ago, but they struggled to beat the Browns, which is just like, come on. I got Redskins. I don't have much more to say about it. I think they've got a little bit more of a versatile approach to their offense, and I don't know. The Chargers defense might be able to stack up to that, and if this pick doesn't go well for me, it's going to be because
it's my
the
fault.
Chargers defense.
Well, I'm going Chargers. The Redskins are almost out of the playoff hunt. Chargers are back in. They've won 3 straight. Albeit the Browns' weirdness last week. But the Skins have lost the last 3 of their last 5. And I think Rivers will come out slinging against what I'm considering to be a middle of the road Washington defense. I don't think it's going to be a career game for him, but I think he'll have some success. I think they'll bend a little. I think Cousins will get a touchdown or 2. But I think that Chargers defense will force at least a couple turnovers, and I think that's going to be the key. So I'm going Chargers.
Cool. Yeah.
There's a lot of contention this week. I like it. It's good.
I
We haven't
think
really
this is
had
the
this
week
much.
where we have the most differing picks.
Yeah, I was expecting it, but this is where things get exciting, which is cool. So,
A lot to play for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, the playoffs is going to be really interesting. It's a stake.
the NFC is going to be interesting. I think the AFC is just,
That championships game's probably
It's
going to be between
Steelers and the Patriots.
Yep, exactly. As long as the Steelers play up.
it's really almost becoming like the NBA, where the West is the powerhouse and the East is just like, oh, it's going to be the Cavs. Like, maybe not this year. It might be actually be the Celtics this year. But that the disparity between the conferences is becoming bigger and more prevalent. I don't like it.
Yeah, I think it used to be that the AFC was for me at least, maybe the conference to watch, but
Yeah.
now I'm all about watching the NFC games. And
Yeah,
I remember,
exactly.
I think 2-3 years ago even, I was saying like NFC South is garbage. No one likes watching those games. And now this is one of my favorite conferences to follow, the divisions anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not upset about it. I think it's cool that we're getting a little bit of variety year over year anyway.
Yeah,
Sure.
and I like somebody in the NFC North being good other than the Packers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
variety is the spice of life. All right, so next game, Titans are playing in Phoenix, or technically Glendale, against the Cardinals. I'm going Cardinals. Tennessee's not playing great. They're finding ways to win. Arizona looks bad against the Rams. But I think the matchup favors Arizona. So I'm going Arizona. It's not a homer pick. I'd rather they lose so we could get a better draft pick.
Yeah, so in relation to what Paige just said, the Cardinals are currently sitting at either the 10th or the 11th pick, depending on how other things shake out. If they win this game against the Titans, they fall all the way down to the 19th pick, which is just horrible for a team that is
bad.
definitely going to be in a rebuild and needs to look at a quarterback of the future.
Yeah, we know how much we love trading up
Yeah.
for a pick.
So, that being said, the Titans might be without Delaney Walker, and if there's one thing the Cardinals cannot cover and defend against, it's tight ends. And that would have been a huge piece.
Yeah, that removes a
would've-
big chess piece
Yeah,
from the board.
yeah, that's like the Titans removing the queen from the chessboard, basically. Rashard Matthews might be out as well. He's probably not good enough to stack up against Patrick Peterson, regardless. But it still limits the number of weapons that Marcus Mariota is going to have on that field. It's going to be the Cardinals, and it's going to be bad because they're going to lose maybe 9 spots in the draft, and that's just horrible for a team that knows they're about to be just dismantled this offseason.
If for nothing else, I'm gonna pick the Cardinals because
Yeah.
Larry Legend has got records to set, and
Yeah.
I think
Larry.
he's wrapping it up,
Yeah.
and they're gonna feed him, And Gabbert was last game too. He just kind of found him whenever he could, and I can't blame the guy. And Larry was taking big hits because he's still elite. on his way out. He's at the top of his game.
Yeah.
Maybe not the absolute top, but he's still a rock star on the field. So, they'll feed him as much as they can, and he'll score some touchdowns. But if for nothing else, I'd say that's why the Cardinals are going to take this one.
Yeah, it's going to be the Cardinals.
Yeah.
It is. It's just not going to be good for anybody.
All right, moving on.
This is a dour kind of dark spot of the podcast where.
Yeah, I mean, we're Cardinals fans, so we're at a point where a win is no longer like a victory. It's not like, it's like, oh god, like we're just digging ourselves deeper into a hole with every win.
Yeah, and if you're a player, I get that you play to win. You play to win the game, to quote ASU's new head coach, Herm Edwards. Herm. But so like for players, it might be moral victories. For fans, it's all about the future. And as a fan, I want a better draft pick because I know our front office will not trade up for a quarterback pick. So we just need to get as close to a good pick as possible.
Yeah, this is a threshold between a quarterback for the future and like another pass rusher, like another late round pass rusher.
Defensive tackle.
Or a wide receiver from a small college that's not pro ready. Like it's just.
If we picked another David Johnson, I still would not be happy because we don't have a quarterback.
It's reinforcing both me and Paige thinking that we may just take a break.
I'm going to go on a Cardinals sabbatical
next year.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Jets, Broncos.
Jets. Let's just get it. I ripped the Band-Aid off. Did you hear it? Jets.
Yeah, you did. Say it one more time.
Nope.
Posterity.
No. It's gonna be the Jets. The Broncos.
Say it again.
Did you see that game against Miami? Oh my.
Bad, man.
I just I think I threw up a little bit in my mouth just now. Just it was so terrible. They look like a Pop Warner team. Just so bad.
Yeah.
That's all I got. The Jets look good. Jets look good.
Jets look good. That's all I got. Broncos look really, really bad. Vance Joseph, goodbye. You will not be remembered.
Not fondly, anyway.
The footsteps of our dear friend McAdoo.
The Jets are looking. It's so weird to talk about Josh McCown as being one of the top quarterbacks in the league. It's so weird. No,
it's not though, because he did his stint in Cleveland, and now it's like because he was in college, he was good.
Yeah, he was. He was great in college. I'm going Jets. After I make my picks, I like to see what other people are saying. And I saw people picking Denver, and I was like, do you really think they're going to snap an 8-game losing streak against the Jets? Maybe if it were against the Browns, they could, but they won't.
The Jets
are 2 games out of 6th seed, so they have a viable shot at the playoffs.
How crazy would that be?
Yeah, wild.
That would be wild.
Yeah. I mean, it's because look at where they were last year, and then this year it's McCown, Robbie Anderson. It's weird. I was reminded reading someone's takes today that it's called the gang green offense, and I just I fell over out of my chair laughing almost.
You literally rotted.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just wow. That's a bad nickname. Y'all should come up with something else. And
they were the Jets. The Jets were the sleeper team this year. They were the ones that kind of popped up out of nowhere, and you weren't really expecting them to. Balil Powell became a viable fantasy option for a few weeks there. Yeah. I think he's still available in our league, but
I think he's available in most leagues.
Yeah,
he's not one of those players that we're going to snatch up for the playoffs.
No,
right, and not for the playoffs, but I could see why somebody would want to consider him for a flex pick. Sure. The Jets shouldn't have been this successful this season, and I think they're showing some kind of foreshadowing of the future that they might have something to be able to put together and kind of contend with.
I would love for that division to be so much more competitive than it has been in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I would love to see just once the Patriots not make the playoffs because somebody else bumps them out. That would just be neat. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something different, something unexpected.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the Jets had a decent, I think it was like a 2-year playoff run under new ASU head coach Herb Edwards, who was the Jets head coach. This isn't about college football, so we won't get into my takes on that pick. But yeah, no matter who is under center, we don't know who that's going to be for Denver because no one knows. It's a merry-go-round of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be
quarterback
Lynch
by
last
committee,
week, and it ended up being.
I really hope
week.
it is. I hope that Lynch comes
out.
out
It should be Paxton,
this week.
but who knows? But it doesn't matter. The Jets defense will terrorize whoever's under center.
I feel like
Doesn't
that's
matter.
very accurate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, just pray for no injuries.
So when the Broncos get a top 4 pick in the draft, do they go quarterback again?
I hope Elway.
know, man.
I hope Elway has the mental capacity to go for something a little bit more intelligent.
He's very
Train up
quicker.
your young guy.
Yeah, they need to bring on somebody who's close to retirement, but that's a passable quarterback that has a lot to teach for Paxton to play under. Who would that be?
Which family of quarterbacks
Who would
does the
that be?
Broncos have a nice history of bringing back just before retirement?
That would be fantastic. But
I'd be
what do
happy-
they do?
I would
Do
be
they
happy
trade?
if-
Do they
if
trade?
Eli
Do they
went to the
trade up?
Broncos
I
next
mean,
year. I don't know.
Who knows?
let's
Maybe.
what's
Let's
the
move on.
next game? I don't wanna
Seahawks
talk about
Jaguars in Jacksonville.
I feel like I'm going to be the lone wolf on this one, so I'm just going to start us off. I think it's going to be the Seahawks. Seahawks have just this really weird, bizarre, illogical way of winning games. I just feel like they're going to do it again.
You think they're going to do 2 in a row?
This is one of my weird gut feelings, like the Redskins picked, and I just feel like the Seahawks are just somehow, some way going to win in a very narrow game. I feel like they're going to win by like maybe a point on a field goal right before the clock stops in the fourth quarter. It's a weird, illogical feeling because I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are overall the better team. That defense has just been incredibly dominant this season. I don't love Blake Bortles. I think he's still very average, and I feel like the defense has been compensating, not to say nothing about that run game. Like, my God, Leonard Fournette just...
Fournette has a day
Every
day.
day. Yeah, we're going to see you in Canton as a first ballot inductee in the Hall of Fame at some point. I know that. It's just, it's a weird gut feeling that Seattle is going to somehow win this game. Somehow, some way, Russell Wilson's just going to make that happen. It's going to be...
Yeah, and that's their thing. Is somehow, some way, they figure it out.
And it's going to be an upset. It's weird. It's such a weird season to say that Seattle beating Jacksonville would be a massive upset. But it's going to be a massive upset, and I think it's going to happen. I am fully prepared to take this as my another lone wolf pick this week because I just, in my heart of hearts, I feel like Seattle's just going to make something weird happen and just win this game.
Well, what about you, Alex? Are you on the Seattle train?
It's weird because you guys kind of had I had this internal dialogue going, and you guys kind of answered the questions that I was asking myself as I said them. It was really weird, and I'm hoping that it doesn't happen
the
again.
Vulcan mind
But
meld.
anyway, no, but because you both make valid points. The Jaguars have had some weird games where they've been just off, and Fournette hasn't come out, or the defense has looked a little bit weaker than it really has for the rest of the season, and.
Right.
If any team is going to capitalize on that in the league, it's going to be the Seahawks.
Exactly.
But at the same time, the Seahawks have the X factor 1 game out of 6. They show up and they beat the Eagles, and you're like, what just happened? Are they
right? Yeah.
Are they a good team this season?
Russell Wilson is a good team.
Russell Wilson's
Too bad Russell Wilson
that might be the title
you can make.
of the podcast.
I'm sure there are
Wilson is a
people
good team.
on YouTube right now doing the same thing that we are, making arguments for the Seahawks about how they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't make that same argument. I think that they're too much.
They're not
There's too many
fantastic.
variables there.
Yeah.
Russell
Jaguars-
Wilson is just a once in a generation talent. He's just, my God, we saw what happened when he had a good team around him. They went to 2 consecutive Super Bowls. He's just he's fantastic.
Yeah, it's the Russ and Pete show.
Yeah, but I mean, with a team that's completely decimated, like that defense is non-existent. They've got no run game. They've got like Aldwin, and I mean Jimmy Graham has kind of had a really nice season. But that's because Russell Wilson, he doesn't even need an offensive line. He just makes things happen. It's weird.
I think the reason that the Eagles weren't able to keep up is because the Seahawks found the gaps in the Eagles defense. And I don't know, they're not going to find those gaps in Jacksonville, I don't think. And so my pick is going to be the Jaguars. I also think the Seahawks, their defense is going to have a hard time holding on to Golden Boy Fournette. You know, I really hope that's the case, honestly, because he's holding down my team this week. But yeah, I'm gonna go Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm going Jaguars too. So, when I was thinking about this game, I thought probably longer about this game than I did about any other game. Sooner or later, this was my conclusion. Sooner or later, Russell Wilson's back will break. Hopefully, not literally, from carrying this damn team. The Jaguars have one of the, maybe the NFL's top defense.
Yeah.
I mean, their pass rush is relentless. They have a pair of cornerbacks that are straight up elite.
Yes.
That will cover all the receivers like a freaking picnic blanket. And Wilson's going to have a hard time getting anything going.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And the Jags have an outstanding run game, and they are going to wear down that already beleaguered, decimated defense without much of a problem.
Yeah, you guys both make amazingly convincing arguments, and I'm sure you're going to be right. But again, it's just a gut feeling that there's somehow, some way.
Sure. But I think that the Jags have enough firepower to outlast the Seahawks. I really kind of, I'm at the point where, like, run-heavy quarterbacks, like, you know, I get watching Russell Wilson play kind of makes me cringe. Mm-hmm. Like, all parts of my body, like, cringe.
Yeah.
Because
you're just waiting for that moment.
Because quarterbacks like that, unless they have a really solid offensive line, they don't last.
Yeah.
They end up breaking their clavicle or something,
right.
You know?
Yeah. Or worse. And it's my fear that because that offensive line has been just not good, just really, I mean, not good's generous, really bad. Yeah. At this point, I'm afraid for Russell Wilson's safety, like physical well-being. I just don't think that the Seahawks have enough in them. Yeah. I think last week was a fluke. It was not. It's the exception to the rule. It's not the rule.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
It's like a tradition it's like a tradition for quarterbacks to buy their offensive lines really nice Christmas gifts. Like, you always see stories on like ESPN or NFL.
I would buy them lumps of coal.
Well, yeah, I mean, you see quarterbacks, they always buy their offensive line like Mac computers or like kick-ass iPads or something.
Been an offensive lineman.
I feel like Russell Wilson needs to buy his offensive line like football for dummies, like just
coaching sessions with
something like,
with Calais Campbell.
Something more subtle than that. He'll get them like the like really terrible ThinkPad like notebook that's like, oh, you were from another quarterback.
He'll get him an original, like a second gen iPod.
Dang.
Like you're still
not even the original where it's like collector's edition. It'd be like the second gen,
and it's gonna be loaded with like motivational speeches from like Vince Lombardi
and Herm Edwards.
No, it's gonna be Al Pacino from Any Given Sunday. Just
there you go. Yeah.
Oh man, and then episode like just like a TV that's geared to only play like minor league. And like the part about Jobu's rum, and like drill it into their head. Don't drink Jobu's rum. Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Moving on.
Go ahead, Alex.
I was gonna say this is gonna be a great game. I'm looking forward to this one.
I think this is collective game of the week.
Is this everybody's game of the week?
Yeah.
I thought Vikings Panthers might be my game of the week, but this is.
I think that's going to be a good game. But this is good. This is my game of the week. It's also DT's game of the week. It's the Philadelphia Eagles in LA against Sean McVay. Oh, that gorgeous head coach, Sean McVay's Los Angeles Rams.
Let's give this a second to breathe.
Like a fine wine.
Because this is not just a really good game this week. This is one of the best
matchup
games
of the season. Yeah, for sure.
So, just a moment of silence.
This is the one we've been waiting for.
Yeah. Moment of silence, Alex. Jesus.
No.
God, I'm not bringing you to a funeral.
Who wants to go first with this illustrious feast of football?
Oh, God. I've missed the feast of football.
Okay, you go first, Paige.
Okay. I had a hard time with this one.
Gee, I wonder why. Because these are amazing teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going Rams. So, two of the NFC's most dominant teams. This is so exciting. I can't get over how exciting this is. And it's an offensive showdown between two of the top picks in the 2016 NFL Draft. You guys, this is super exciting. I think there's going to be lots of, not a lot of scoring. I think there's going to be a moderate amount of scoring. These are the two highest scoring teams in the entire league. They are averaging 30.1 points a game. This is going to be a shootout between Goff and Wentz. They're going to be like the dailies encouraging you to vote in Chicago early and often. But I think the Rams are going to do most of their damage on offense, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. The Eagles are better at slowing the run. But they've not ever faced talents. I mean, Todd Gurley is having an elite
career
season. Career
is right.
I've picked against the Rams a lot this year. Mostly because I hate them. Because they're a division rival and they always injure my players. But I'm going Rams. They've proven me wrong a lot, and they are an excellent team this year. Yeah. They really are.
On the flip
and they're
side,
picking up steam.
I'm gonna go Eagles. I feel like Jared Goff has amazed everybody this year. I feel like Carson Wentz has not been as amazing because I think he was just born to be a better quarterback overall. I think his first year in Pennsylvania, as it's become known, was a learning period. I feel like the Eagles are just a better overall team. I feel like that defense is really solid. That passing game is really solid. That run game is really solid too. If Ajayi and Blunt can get open and they can find a clear lane with daylight, you can't stop them.
Their weaknesses did get exposed last week.
True.
Kind of like the Steelers, planning games for the Raiders to then beat the Chiefs after the Steelers did.
But a massive factor in this game is the fact that the Rams are playing at home, and if we're being honest, it's still an away game. They still haven't found that. They're not at home in that Coliseum. There's going to be far more Eagles fans in that Coliseum than Rams fans, I think.
The Rams attendance actually, the attendance for Rams fans has been going up.
It's still not there, though. They're still going to be the minority.
Well, that's because they've been performing. If they fall off and don't make it deep in the playoffs, then
it's fair weather shit. I think it's the Eagles. I think the Eagles are playoff bound. Well,
obviously.
They are AFC or NFC Championship game bound. We'll see what happens when they square up against the Saints in the NFC Championship game. I think the Eagles are gonna come in. They're gonna be just a little bit better than the Rams. But this is a game. It's a reason why you watch football. Like, this game is just gonna be incredible. Hopefully.
It's a Coliseum matchup. It's perfect. You know, it's a gladiator showdown
for the season. Yeah, without a doubt, game of the week. Whatever happens, I don't really have a horse in this race. I'm gonna pick the Eagles as the winner, but I just want to see an incredible football game, a clean football game between two very well organized, well oiled teams firing on all cylinders, looking for that top spot in the NFC. And I think that's what we're going to get. I think it's going to be a crown jewel in the 2017-18 season as far as really good games. So if you're going to watch any game this week, watch this one, because this one's just going to be amazing. It's going to be explosive.
And with that, DT's going to be quiet so Alex can give us his pick.
I think if you look at Carson Wentz early, like even before, I think I picked him up randomly. It's just like because my QB was on a bye last year. and I thought, he's gonna show up and do something. He's had. If you look at his highlights, I think you'd be impressed. He didn't show up until this year though, and now he's playing with heart. The guy's just on fire, and the team has rallied around that. And if you look at Wentz compared to Goff, I think you would vote for the Eagles just on that alone. I think the Rams altogether, I think they're. I don't want to say their defense is better. I think that the Rams are a rock solid team. But I think the Eagles got a reality check. They couldn't coast through the rest of the season this past week, and given that, I think they're going to come out guns blazing. And I'm gonna go Eagles also, just for that sheer fact. Like DG said, I won't be surprised if the Rams take this one. I'm looking forward to this game. It's going to be one of the best ones to watch. Yeah. Even if it's kind of like a low-scoring game, and the defenses really come out, and it really comes down to play calling, and it comes down to the team and who's got a little bit more to give. But I'm going to go Eagles.
Yeah, and I think the points you made about the Eagles kind of coming back down to earth a little bit and realizing that they're not bulletproof is worth bringing up again and giving you props for that, because that's an excellent point. They're a smart team. They're going to adjust. They're going to realize their weaknesses, and I feel like they're going to compensate for those weaknesses. And I think they're going to be, again, it's going to be a dynamite game. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring affair. I think it's, despite the fact that both of those defenses are fantastic and elite, I think you're right. I feel like the Eagles are going to make the adjustments, and they're going to prove themselves one of the best teams in the NFC. And what better we can do it than under one of the best teams in the NFC. So
right, and that was my final point on this, and like before we move on, is that if the people have been whispering in Philly for since week 3, I feel like that the Eagles are going to take it this year, and if they want to prove that they can go deep into the playoffs and contend, this is the week to show everybody that they mean business. So,
yeah, and if they don't, then it's going to echo what I've been saying for the last several weeks, because I've been watching more Eagles games. A lot of times they're on the same time the Cardinals games are on. So, but I'm watching a non-Cardinals game and then flipping to the Cardinals game during commercials. I don't think, and a lot of people have harangued me for this, and that's okay. I don't think the Eagles are as good as everyone thinks they are. They're very good. Don't get me wrong, but I've seen weaknesses throughout the season that Seattle did a brilliant job exposing, and I think that that wasn't just arrogance. There are some holes in that team.
Okay.
So I think if the Rams play smart, they can exploit it. But the Eagles are excellent. They're really good.
Yeah. There's no question.
But they're not a. I mean, I guess they're almost as complete as a team could be, but there are definitely some weaknesses. So
sure.
It'll be fun either way. No horse in the race, so I'm in it for the football.
Exactly.
As are we all.
Yeah, this is going to be an ugly one. Another ugly one. They should move. We were saying earlier they should flip this game and the Monday night game.
Yeah. And
put this game on Monday night. The Ravens are playing in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. Last week's matchup, Monday night's matchup was ugly, and this is going to be another ugly AFC matchup.
I don't think it's going to be that ugly.
Oh, well.
Roethlisberger this week said himself that he feels like the Ravens respect the Steelers in a rivalry a lot more than the Bengals do. Anytime the Bengals and the Steelers square off against each other, it's just going to be an ugly, dirty, vicious football game. And it's not that case when the Steelers and the Ravens square off. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to pick the Steelers. I think they're going to win. I think they're the better, more complete team. And they're hopefully, just for the sake of the players, I hope to goodness that there's no more injuries, no more weird things that shake them in the first quarter that, requires them to rally in the second half and bounce back and snatch a narrow victory. barring that, I think they're just a better team than the Ravens overall. I think the defense is probably going to have their way with Flacco a little bit. I don't expect it to be a dirty game.
I don't think it's going to be dirty. I think it's going to be ugly.
I don't think so. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a very clean, very...
I don't mean ugly. Like, I mean ugly in the sense of I think there's going to be a lot of mistakes.
I don't think so.
And I think I don't think this is going to be a pretty game.
I feel like Ben is probably due for an interception. We'll say that.
He threw one Monday.
Yeah, there might be a couple of fumbles, like typical football stuff. But I feel like the Steelers are pretty much the cut and dry victors.
These are never cut and dry games, though. I mean, I've been watching Steelers-Ravens matchups pretty closely for, the better part of 5 years.
Long time.
Being that I'm married to a Steelers fan. And sometimes we watch them over and over again. Or not whole games, but parts of games.
Right.
Over and over and over. Anyways, I'm going Steelers too, but the Ravens, yes, the Ravens definitely have more respect for the Steelers. The Steelers have more respect for the Ravens. But the matchups are ugly in a different way. It's a slog. These games are... they're often in muddy conditions. There's a lot of slipping and sliding. There's a lot of mistakes on both sides. They can be kind of dramatic, but typically I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game for either team. I wouldn't be shocked if the Steelers pull it out with a last minute field goal because they like to play down to the teams that they're playing against.
Very true.
But I don't think the Ravens are going to make this easy on them at all. Their defense has been terrific. Too bad Flacco is the opposite of terrific.
Not terrific.
But this is a super heated rivalry. They are not pulling any punches, but I don't think that any punches will be thrown either.
Hope not.
So, but I'm going Steelers. Yeah, if I wanted to watch people punch each other, I'd freaking watch MMA or boxing.
I don't care for either of those, if I'm being honest. So.
You're right to call it it's a regional rivalry. It's kind of that northeast slug'em, but I don't know. I think this is going to be a good match. Just as far as the kind of what have I been saying about I call them question mark, and that still holds. Is that the Ravens have been able to pull out random huge wins, and they haven't won just like by the skin of their teeth. They've won big, or they've been shut down.
Teams. But then they lose.
Yeah.
But my pick this week is going to be exactly what DT said. It's the Steelers are the well-rounded team, and I don't know how the Ravens are going to keep up with the versatility on that offense. So, Steelers is my pick.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we're at the last game. The game that should be buried somewhere in the middle of the lineup instead of being a feature Monday night game.
It's a terrible Monday night game.
The Patriots are playing in Miami against the Dolphins, and admittedly, the Patriots have a weird history of not playing well in Southern Florida. They drop a lot of games down there, weirdly. But I'll go first. This is not one of those seasons. The Dolphins lost it 3 weeks ago to the Patriots.
Yeah.
That will happen again. But at this time at home.
Yeah.
That's it.
I will say that that Miami has been showing a little bit here and there. I do think it's way too late in the season for them to kind of come back and kind of try to assert dominance. You don't play the Patriots on Monday night and like throw out this random game where you surprise everybody. I don't see that happening. I think the Patriots have been a reliable pick for most of the season, if not all of it, and there's nothing that's changed. I think if anything else, they just look a little bit. The nuts and bolts are a little bit tighter, and they look a little bit more machine ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, and even with Gronk out, like, he's a big factor against teams that are on equal footing with the Patriots. But the Patriots and the Dolphins are like on different planets.
Yeah.
In different universes. So, I mean, even with Gronk out, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so you guys are both going Patriots?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Patriots with Gronk injured and not playing are 20 wins and 5 losses. First of all, it's going to be my second beep of the night. It's amazing to me that Gronkowski has missed 25 games in his career. Let that sink in for a bit.
Wow.
I mean, if you're going to call Gronkowski...
Wait, so how many games has he actually played?
I don't know.
Enough to make an impact.
It's not worth checking out, but enough to make an impact. But anybody who says that Gronkowski may or may not be a factor in this game, and there's probably not many, honestly, because I feel like this game is going to be a Patriots win.
Oh, for sure.
Anybody who says that Gronkowski is or is not going to be a factor is underestimating Tom Brady, especially against a weak divisional rival like the Dolphins.
You're right. Tom Brady doesn't need Gronkowski to make giant plays. Do you see that run? His backfield is hungry. They're hungry.
Deion Lewis and Rex Burkhead they're a solid. They're not. I wouldn't call them one of the best running back duos in the league, not by a long stretch. But they are very hungry. They're both out to prove themselves, and I think I'm honestly I'm glad. I'm not gloating or anything at this point. I'm really glad that I'm actually on a bye week in fantasy this week because I don't see Tom Brady having a great day because I don't think he's going to need to have a great day.
Yeah, he's not going to care.
Because I feel like the Patriots are going to be all run game, and they should be because there's no reason not to exploit that really weak Dolphins run defense. Yep. So Brady's going to have time. He's going to be rested up. He's going to be fresh for the next week. But yeah, I mean he's a quarterback who can make anything happen with anybody you have him lined up as a wideout or a slot receiver. Like he's just one of those quarterbacks that's just going to make shit happen regardless.
Yeah.
So Gronk is a safety blanket. He's by far his most favorite and trusted receiver, but he doesn't need him to make that happen. And against a team like the Dolphins, like we saw what happened last week. Like the Patriots did not play well last week against the Bills. They did not, like you saw, everybody saw Tom Brady having a temper tantrum and going after his offensive coordinator for terrible play calling. They did not play well at all. Tom Brady got me 8 points in my fantasy team last week. I mean, it was a terrible game, but they still wiped the floor with the Bills. And the Dolphins aren't as good as the Bills are this season. So it's a landslide Patriots victory. It just is.
Yeah. I don't know about the Bills Dolphins thing, but I do think I was going to bring up last week that Rex Burkhead carried 2 or 3 Bills into the end zone with him because he wanted it that bad. Yeah. And
he's got
I don't
back legs that just don't stop.
It's gonna be this. I've got Deion Lewis on my squad, and I'm hoping that he's in my flex, and I'm hoping that he can put up some big points, and I'm putting him in exactly for what you said, is that when they're not gonna fly out these giant downfield passes. Yeah. I mean, maybe one every now and then, but that'll only be to open up that run game so they can just ground and pound this.
It's going to be in situations where they need a first down, so they can just open up those running game just to exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's it.
We're done.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Three, 2, 1.
Welcome
so
back.
Long.
Okay, retry.
And 3, 2, 1.
Who's
doing what? Should we just
Well,
I thought we were all
recorded
doing
for
so
the end of the
long.
video.
Oh my god.
We're as confused as Ben McAdoo was coaching the New York Giants.
I